Fantastic. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kristeen, and yes, I work for the town. Some of you might have met me before because I have taught at Sir John and also QE Park and also Glen Abbey. But what most people didn't know until recently is that I also lecture um, all across Canada, actually, and right now via Zoom. And so, what I'm offering today and each Friday, so I'm grateful to Daniel for suggesting that I come on board. And I'm going to be offering mindfulness and gratitude. We're going to talk about it a little bit, and then we're going to go right into practice for mindfulness. So, all I need you to do is get so comfortable and cozy and just sit back and relax. We're just going to just talk a bit about gratitude and how wonderful gratitude is, what it can do to have a positive mind and just change the way we look at life. And then we're going to sit in silence for a little bit as we pause, and we're going to start and go into a mindfulness practice. And mindfulness is really great because it brings awareness to the body and the mind. It reduces stress, anxiety, and depression. It's also good for the physical body. So we'll talk about this each week. Today's is just an introduction to the overall program, and you have no idea. I'm so excited you're here. So thank you all for being here. And I'm going to get started right away. I'm going to share a screen as well, because I'm sure you don't want to look at my face all day for the whole hour. So I will share as well. So get comfortable, sit back. I've already got my Christmas mug out, or I shouldn't say that, maybe it's holiday mug. Holiday mug. So, there we go. My tea is in there. If you need to go and grab something, now's a really great time. Tea, coffee, water, or anything that you need, and then sit back and get really comfortable with me. And all you have to do, see, Gail, I see you putting a pillow behind your back. I love that. That is so important. I need you to get that comfortable, because when we sit in stillness, we really want to relax the mind and therefore relax the body. But let's get started first. I'm going to share my screen. So give me a moment. And you're just going to see something pop up on the screen. So I should be in a little small box, and you should be able to see a PowerPoint presentation that I have on the side or in a bigger screen. So good morning again. I am Kristeen, and here we go. We're going to talk about gratitude and mindfulness, what it does for the body, and how it can affect us. So here's something that I absolutely love. I love this quote. It's an anonymous quote that I found, and it says, "Gratitude turns what we have into enough." I'm going to ask you to sit back for a second and just contemplate that anonymous quote. I love it because it says everything that I really want to talk about today. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. Take a few breaths with me. Breathe in, breathe out. And I want you to think of gratitude for a moment in your own life. And yes, I'm going to be popping back and forth and sharing the screen. What is gratitude? What does it mean to be grateful? And let's start with a really small little exercise. You don't have to move anywhere. I want you to think of a person in your life whom you are grateful for. I just want you to sit back for a moment and just think of that person. Whom are you grateful for in your life? Take some breaths in through the nose, take some breaths out. In your mind's eye, think of that person, or maybe that person is around you somewhere. I'm thinking of that person as well, or those people. And did you notice, as I said, those people, the smile on my face got even bigger? So tell me something, or you can just kind of contemplate. I'll ask you some questions. When you thought of the person or people that you are grateful for, show of hands if it made you feel good. Maybe just, yeah, made you feel good. So I see some, yes, exactly. And that's what is so wonderful about gratitude. it actually changes the way we look at things, and it really brings us to a place of self-acceptance for where we are, for appreciating the people in our life, for appreciating the moment. When you think of gratitude, we come to a place where let's look at let's look at the reality of the situation. We are still in the middle of a pandemic, and here you are with me talking about gratitude. Because the truth of the matter is, there are a million reasons I have to be grateful. And the first one is I woke up this morning and I am breathing. I mean, that alone, I just got chills. Sorry. I just got chills. Every time I say that, I gotta, take that into the body. Like that is so, just think of that. I woke up that alone, I woke up this morning and I was able to look around. And guess what? Here in Oakville, I'm hoping in Burlington as well, that sun outside, look at that. I'm opening up the blinds, it's so bright and so sunny. And even if it was rainy and even if it was snowing, I would be saying the same thing to you. Those are reasons to be grateful. And as I'm saying them to you, I can feel the energy change, the vibrational change in my body. I think it's May. Are you feeling the same way? I see you nodding your head. Absolutely, absolutely. So what I'm saying to you is it doesn't change the reality of life and the situation, but we can choose happiness. And one of the ways we choose happiness, or we can get to a place of a positive mind and happiness, is by focusing on the things we are or the people we are grateful for. Typically, I don't talk about things being actual things, although, the truth of the matter is that you can buy something that can bring you momentary happiness. You can buy experiences that, like a vacation, that can bring you happiness. And you can be grateful that you were able to go and do certain things in your life. And those things you can be grateful for, and they can bring you happiness. So let's be honest, things can. Very different, though, than what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about the things that money cannot buy, right? The things that are really, really important. So I'm going to ask you, we're going to get right into mindfulness with this right now. So mindfulness brings about self-awareness, and very often self-awareness might mean that if you're looking at the way you feel or just tapping into the way you feel at a particular moment, it may not be the best, right? If we look around at the world today, if you've been listening to the TV, if you've been listening to the news, you might be overwhelmed. But sometimes we need to shut those things off and come back to our self. And when you come back to yourself and you just recognize for a moment what is actually going on around me. So, right now, what is going on around me is this: other than the fact that I am speaking, I am comfortable, I am safe, I have a roof over my head, I'm enjoying company with people who obviously wanted to be here, speaking, listening, joining in about gratitude and mindfulness. Nothing is wrong. It doesn't mean that my life is perfect in any way. As a matter of fact, I could be suffering from grief, stress, depression, or anything else. But for the moment, I'm going to acknowledge what it is I'm feeling right now. Acknowledge it. It could be any of the things that I've mentioned. So take some breaths and just acknowledge what you're feeling physically. Acknowledge your mind, what's on your mind. Your mind might be wandering. I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do this later, I've got to go here. That's okay. Just acknowledge where you are at this moment and breathe, accept it. Relax into and settle into your breath, your own breath. Don't fight the thoughts. Don't fight anything right now. Just acknowledging where you are. There is no right or wrong way to feel. There is no right or wrong thought that comes into the mind. Now let's switch for a moment. We're going to do a little bit of mindfulness work. I want you to focus on, again, the people or the person that you are grateful to have in your life. And every time you breathe in through the nose, I want you to say that person's name in your mind's eye. And as you breathe out, I want you to think of that person again. So all the other things you were thinking about, we're going to let them float to the side. Sit back in your chair for a moment, breathing in through the nose, maybe. You can even sigh out through parted lips. And in your mind's eye, whether your eyes are open or closed, I want you just to think of gratitude, the people or the person you are grateful for. So I might say, I am grateful for my children. And I breathe in. And as I breathe out, I say again, I am grateful for those dirty boys who live in my house, who are teenagers, and all of those wonderful things that happen with having teenagers. You might have other people in your life. It doesn't mean everything's perfect, but I'm certainly grateful for them. Every part of it. Breathe in, settle, relax, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. They are well, I can be happy. It's as simple as that. That's all it takes for mindfulness and gratitude. I mean, we can go into theory, we can go into so much more, which we will over the weeks, but it is as simple as sitting in silence for 30 seconds, pausing. So for example, an example of me using mindfulness to change my perspective or to take me from where I am if I'm feeling upset or angry to a wonderful place is just a matter of me pausing. So let's just say, for example, I'm going to use my teenagers as an example. Let's just say that my son doesn't clean the cat litter at the right time and I get upset. Okay? Basically, what happens is I'm starting to feel the upset inside. We tend to do that. Right at that moment, I pause and I say to myself, stop for a moment. Take a breath. So I'm breathing. And then I come to a place of gratitude. My sons are happy. It's not a big deal. I can do it myself. He'll do it in a moment. Everything is okay. It changes. It starts to help ease the feelings. It also helps me to acknowledge what space I'm in. Am I angry for the right reason? Do I need some clarity around what I'm feeling? And can I change where it is I'm at? So being self-aware is so important. Mindfulness slows you down, pauses you, brings about self-awareness so that you can decide if you want to stay where you are or if you want to go down another road. So for me today, the path is gratitude. Because even in the midst of the most challenging times of our lives, our bodies and our minds need ease. They need a break. So let me go back to sharing the screen. I've talked way too much. Let's go back. I'm going to share again. So here we go to the next screen. Oh, opening remarks. I've already talked through the opening remarks. That's me. My wish is that today's talk leaves you filled with feelings of gratitude. I want you feeling positive. I want you feeling a little bit more relaxed if you need to feel that way. I want you to feel good. I want you to have good vibes, good energy. I want you to have a smile on your face. I want you to just feel great by the end of it. We've already started talking about what are you grateful for? And notice the top here, grateful. It's not just grateful as in the true meaning of the word, but actually great. And really I should have 2 L's and full, because that's what gratitude does. It makes you think of things on a bigger level, little things that are important, or the bigger things that are really important, throwing aside maybe the things that aren't, and really fills you up. So there you go. What does gratitude mean to you? I'm going to show you this picture. I have a little quote at the side that says, having a positive mindset can help us get through anything. I truly, truly believe that. the way we look at life, the way we navigate life, the things we focus on, therefore become our reality. But I also want you to notice something else. A lot of the times you'll notice when people talk of gratitude, they place their hands on their hearts. Both hands, one hand over the other, one hand on heart, one hand on belly. We tend to hold in tight as if we are giving ourselves a little bit of self love, which is totally fine. I'm not sure if you've ever noticed that yourself, but I'm coming back. I want you to do this with me as we now move right into a mindful practice because I've said a lot. So let me stop myself for a moment because I get so excited when I talk about gratitude. I have so many clients and so many stories, as I'm sure you do. And over the weeks, I hope when you join in, you'll be happy to give me examples in your own life because that's what this should really be. And if there's anyone who really would like to share, please just use the little reaction button at the side. You can kind of put your hand up and you're more than welcome to speak and say something. Daniel will allow us to do that with the technology. So feel free.
Yeah, if folks can't find the raise hand button, you can either just write in the chat saying, "Hey, I'd like to speak," or even I think there's 11 of us here. I think that if you turn off your mic and start speaking, Christine, if that's okay with you,
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely. If anyone wants to jump in. So, what does gratitude mean to you is a great way to start. Is there anyone who would like to give an example of what gratitude means to them or who they're grateful for? Because this is really important. The energy that we share and is so important. So before we go into that practice, if there's anyone, take off your mute button and just jump in and just say, I'm grateful for anyone at all. And I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm really not. You don't have to say anything at all. But
I'm grateful for being healthy.
yes. Yes. I mean, is that in light of what's going on around the world? Oh, it's May, is that correct?
Yes.
May, in light of what's going on around the world, are you kidding me? That is like there's nothing bigger. Like we are here. We are here. That is so like I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful you're here. I'm so grateful I'm here. That's it. Right? Because everyone else has not always been so lucky in these last few months. And of course, the natural progression of life requires, of course, that life ends. However, this has been a very tumultuous time. And health is more important right now than anything else because even taking a breath of air in the wrong place could bring about devastating results, right? And so yes, I'm grateful as well. Thank you. Anyone else want to join in? You're very welcome to join in at any time. Okay. Oh, someone else is joining in, I think. No? Okay. Let's start the mindful practice. Put your feet either down on the ground, fully place your foot. So if this was a piece of paper, which it is, I'm going to place my foot down on the ground fully, all of my toes. So pretend this is my foot, but it's my hand. Place your feet firmly on the ground if you can, but still be comfortable. And I liked how Gail, I believe it was, put a pillow behind her back. So feel free to put a pillow and support your back or sit back in your chair and get comfortable. Now, some people prefer to sit down on the ground and cross their legs. And by the way, mindfulness can be done laying down, standing up, walking, doing dishes, driving. For the purpose of this class, we are only sitting. But you're welcome to get off your chair. And if you would like to lay down or sit in any other position that is comfortable to you, feel free. I tend to leave my hands up or down on my lap. A tall spine, not a rigid spine. So notice a relaxed but elongated spine. And I tend to look straight ahead, really relaxed in the jaw area. So if you need to move your jaw from side to side, I sometimes will place my tongue to the roof of my mouth, which then leaves your lips parted. In very many classes, you will find that the instructor will guide you to lick your lips so that when you part your lips, by leaving your tongue against the roof of your mouth or down, that you'll notice that your lips get a little dry. It's very common that you lick them. So I'm just letting you know. And by taking your tongue to the roof of your mouth, it turns the corners of your lips up slightly, almost like you're smiling a little bit, changes what the message that we're sending to the body. Take a breath in through the nose. You can sigh it out first with me, gentle. We're not forcing it. We don't want to activate the fight or flight in the body. Breathe in gently. Breathe out. Eyes may be open or closed. Become aware of your breath. Notice the mind without judgment, without criticism. Allow the thoughts to flow in and out. Become aware of the breath in the body. When you're ready, begin to bring awareness back to the body. Take a big breath in through the nose and gently sigh it out through parted lips. If your eyes are still closed, that's okay. Notice the sounds around you. And as you open your eyes and get accustomed to the light again, just look around the room. Look around the room, take in the colors, take in the items, take in where the sunlight is streaming in. And I'm going to get you to do one little thing for me. Reach your hands up. Just reach up and just a little stretch. Just to the right and to the left. You can yawn. It's good for the body. Yawns are a resetting of the body. It's a natural somatic movement to reset. And then maybe twist a little bit to the side. Shake it out a little bit. And now we're going to all do a little practice of mindfulness with our hands on the body, meaning on the chest, one or two hands, either both hands over the heart, really tapping into your heart space, because we are speaking of gratitude. And whether or not breathing and being alive and here today is what you would have picked as a reason for gratitude this morning, I'm going to select that and tell you to tap into the beating of your own heart. So I just want you to tap in. We're not going to stay for as long. We stayed for about 6 minutes with that last little bit. I want to stay for about a minute or two here, where you just press your hands gently into your heart space. Or I'm going to stand for you a little bit, one hand on heart, one hand on belly like this, and sit back and really just tap in. And if you hear the sounds around you, I'm close to a window, I can hear the sounds of vehicles outside. I can hear one of my sons in school in his room. I can hear so many things. Don't allow them to upset you. Instead, breathe them in and settle back into your breath from a place of gratitude, thinking about anybody or anything that makes you feel wonderful, just wonderful. So sit back. You can sit up tall, of course, with your feet on the ground. You can be laying down and doing this, sitting and doing this. You can be anywhere and doing this, taking a moment to pause. We're going to pause. Take a breath in. Settle into your breath as you exhale. Tap into the beating of your own heart. I'm going to press my mute button. Really stay attached to your own breath. And when you're ready, you can remove your hands away from the body if you choose to. Okay, so that is our beginnings of how this is going to be every week. Except each week, the mindfulness part will get a little bit longer, and my talking part will get a little bit shorter. And every once in a while, if someone sends in the chat, Kristeen, you're still talking, it's okay. I get it. I've gotten that my whole life. I talk a little too much. So I want us to really enjoy the mindfulness part, but we're going to always have a focus on gratitude. Now, I want you to remember a couple of things as we come to almost towards the end of the class, is that mindfulness is really about awareness. And the best way to be aware is to take a moment and really acknowledge what's going on right now in your own body. That means being present. I haven't said that word yet, and we're going to have a whole talk one of these weeks about gratitude and just being present, present in every moment. Or we're going to talk about gratitude through the challenges, through the hardest times in your life, or if that's right now, what that looks like, how we navigate that, and does it feel insincere? Because for many people, that feels insincere. How can I be happy? How can I come to a place of gratitude when all around me things aren't always as wonderful? And that's okay. This is part of the process, because the whole idea is that it has to feel good in the body. We have to be able to relax the mind. The mind houses our brain, and everything in that brain affects our bodies. So wherever you go, where your mind goes, if we're sitting here, but you're writing your grocery list, you're not really here. You are writing your grocery list. If you're here and you are thinking of all the other places you want to be, you are actually in those places. You're not actually here, because the body reacts to whatever the mind is doing. So if I'm sitting in a mindful place, if I'm sitting and I'm saying, I'm going to do 5 minutes, 5 of mindfulness today, and the entire time I am thinking of everything other than what my body looks like it's doing, I can guarantee you that my body is reacting to what I'm thinking about. So we're going to learn how to do this without judgment, without criticism, but we're also going to delve into other topics, of course, from a grateful realm, and how this will help the body, because it does reduce stress. Because I know that if I stay present and I stay here with you and don't allow myself to think about the things that have upset me in the past, and if I don't use every moment, I take a few moments to stay here and not worry about the next moment, then I know that I'm doing my brain and my body worlds of good. And the easiest way to that path is through gratitude. It then changes your mind and brings you a positive mindset. And we all know people who we can identify as not positive. And you know what it seems like. And we want to be able to say, oh, that's what's going on over there. I'm coming to a place of gratitude today because my body needs this. The other thing is, in order to be grateful, we also have to have self-acceptance. We're going to talk about that and dive into what is self-acceptance as well. Because if we want to be grateful, we have to accept what is currently our situation. It doesn't mean you don't change anything. It just means that if we have a little bit of self-acceptance, we can navigate things with more clarity, if that makes sense. So we've got about 8 minutes left. I know I've got another 100 slides in the slides to go through. I'm not going to go through them all today because I would really like some community involvement from you. I would like to have some information from you, or sharing from you, or questions about mindfulness. But I will tell you this right away. I studied for a year at the Sarana Institute in conjunction with Sick Kids Hospital for 1 year. I was admitted via a scholarship. So I was allowed to get in, not fully paid, but a large portion of it. And so I was there with nurses, doctors, neuroscientists, and all kinds of scientists. There were 40 of us in my cohort, and 2 of us were yoga teachers. I was very, very excited to be there. So apart from that, I'm a yoga instructor as well, but have also trained in mindfulness. And I continue to do so because I also am taking a program at University of Toronto, while I'm also a student of gerontology at Laurentian. So I have a lot going on, to say the least. Mindfulness keeps me sane. It keeps me in a place that I can manage and keep things wonderful in my life. What has mindfulness done for you if you're used to practicing? What has gratitude done for you? And what would you like to share with me this morning, if anything? Is there anyone who'd like to share? And I'll ask some smaller questions. Who is the person you are most grateful for at this very moment? And it can be yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. Does anyone want to share who they're grateful with? You don't have to say a name. You could say my neighbor. You could say Daniel. You could say
Yeah,
anything at all.
I can definitely share. I'll go first, I guess. Christine, I know I told you I have a new baby, and I'm very, it looks like it was mostly, well, for anyone who's been around a new baby, it's a lot. So I'm very grateful to my spouse, my wife, because she's over the past few months, she has, well, for one, given birth and then done some tremendous things and changed to be a mother. So that's been amazing.
I love that, Daniel. I love that. I'm going to be honest with you. There is a Polish bakery down on Kerr Street. I'm not telling you all to go there. I'm just telling you. And over the pandemic, because I used to bake, but I don't bake anymore. And I did not bake during the pandemic. I wasn't going down the baking route. But they had the most wonderful custard desserts. And I just and put a spoon in my mouth. I went 4 times over the course of the last few months. Just one. And then a spoon. And I was like, I am so grateful that I have food. It's so good. I'm so privileged. You know, there's been a lot of talk about privilege, but I am actually very privileged to be here. So I'm grateful for that. To be in Oakville, I'm grateful for this. To be Canadian, I was born in BC. So grateful. I turned 50 this year. 50. Do you know how grateful I am for that? Anyone else?
Christine, it looks to me like you've put yourself on mute, but I see you chatting.
Oh, sorry. Oh no. I was saying, Mary, I see you smiling. Margaret, I see a little smile like you're itching. If you've got that little feeling inside, like, I want to share, but I'm not sure, jump in, share it, because it's so good just to get it out and say it, because what you say becomes even bigger, even better. It's good to hear it. It's good for other people to hear it. No? That's okay. Well, I will say that we have about 3 minutes left. And if no one wants to share anything else, then what I will say is that let's talk about how mindfulness moves from this session here into your everyday life. When you're washing dishes, right? You have a dish in your hand. So I'll pretend that this is a dish. And I'm washing, and I mindfully, instead of racing through the dishes and getting everything done, I mindfully breathe and I slow things down. When I'm walking outside, open your eyes as if you were a child, a newborn babe, or a young child seeing things for the first time. Look up at the sky, look up at the clouds, take a breath in of the fresh air. Feel the breeze against your face, walk slower. Feel your entire foot planted down in the ground. Take some time. These are all ways so you can walk and be mindful. You can drive and be mindful, knowing that you're going to take your time. You're not going to, if someone tries to cut you off, you're going to, at that point, not get all upset. Just let them go. Slow it down. Take your time. Get there mindfully. Bring about peace to your own body, joy, ease. So there's so many different ways that we can be mindful. And I hope that you will remember that mindfulness doesn't mean you sit for an hour. Most people who are new to mindfulness will think, oh, I see people sitting a certain way and I see them sitting still, and that's okay. Is mindfulness similar to meditation? It absolutely is. And thank you very much for saying that. It's very similar. However, this is how I have been taught and how I describe it. Mindfulness is like Meditation is like the parent, mindfulness is like the child. If you hear a lot of talk about mindfulness in the actual, um, in the way that it was first described, there are religious connotations that are assigned with meditation. Mindfulness, you'll notice, has been adapted, and it's more mainstream because you can take it into offices, businesses, schools, where we are not diving into anything to do with religion. We're not doing anything other than being aware, being present, being mindful with the breath. Whereas if we go into the history of meditation, what we will find is it takes you down different paths. There's nothing wrong with it. It also teaches you a little bit different. There's a difference between how you would practice the two. In meditation, which is in mindfulness actually, which we're going to start doing next week, we stay focused on one thing. We come back to it. It's been gratitude today. We're just really focusing on gratitude, right? With mindfulness or meditation, let me get clear. Meditation, it's like having multiple balls juggling in the air, like the thoughts that come into your mind. We don't necessarily focus on one thing. We are able to manage all of them without being dragged into multiple places. Does that make more sense? I see, let me see. If that makes sense, I hope that makes sense. So meditation up here, mindfulness, the child, meditation, lots of balls in the air. We breathe, we focus, we learn not to be pulled away from the present moment, but it's okay that multiple thoughts, feelings, emotions are coming in. With mindfulness, we then focus on one thing. We bring it back to gratitude. We bring it back to breath. We bring it back so that we're not holding all those balls up in the air. I hope that helps slightly. So you won't hear me talk about anything other than breath and breathing and pausing and self-awareness and self-acceptance and ease and all of these wonderful things. So it's open to everybody. That is the reason why you will find people around the world. They study mindfulness, of course, but you'll find more coming down the path of mindfulness, like they study meditation, but you'll see them coming to a place of mindfulness. And the most notable person that you might have heard recently is Jon Kabat-Zinn. You might have heard of him. Lots of fabulous books. I'm going to bring in some books. We're going to read some pieces over the next few weeks. I don't want to bombard you guys. I'm too excited. And we're at 9:47, so I went 2 minutes over. So let's take a moment, hands on your heart. I want you to think of an intention for yourselves or something you're grateful for. And just take a breath. That's it, my friends. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
I hope you'll give me some time again. Thank you. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you, Kristeen.
Thank you. Thank you, Christina, Mary, Margaret, everybody who joined in at the Life Skills Center. Gail, thank you. May, Anda's iPad. There it is, Anda. Thank you all. Happy Friday. If you're not going outside, open up a window, look outside. Breathe it in, enjoy the sunlight, look up to the sky, take a look at the clouds if there are any. Not so many clouds in Oakville today. Okay, forget that part.
Thanks, guys. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.